What is up, Bucs fans? We are back. It's Real Bucs Talk here live on a Monday. It's been a pretty relaxing bye week as the Buccaneers were able to rest up, get healthy. It seems like we're going to talk on that. And yeah, it's just great to be back with you guys. Come on in and let's have some fun. I'm your host, Michael Plus, joined as always, my co host, Mark Ramirez. Both of us got some fresh haircuts. We're
Yep.
ready to rock and roll for a great week this week. A big game against the Detroit Lions, who are 4-1, looking like one of the best teams in the league, and the Buccaneers right there at 3-1. So should be a heck of a game. But also big news: it is the creamsicle week, so we got Bucco Bruce in the house. That's gonna be awesome to see, and also. There has been some news for that game. It has been moved from a 1 o'clock start to a 4:25 start. But before we get into all that, Mark, how are we doing? How are we feeling? It was kind of a long weekend without Bucks football. It's like we're missing something there.
It was, but still,
Yeah.
it feels good to rest. Feels good to
Yeah.
relax. I mean,
Yep.
the highs and lows of roller coaster season that is the Buck season.
Yep.
I mean, you hear nothing but good things now. I mean, I think the bye week was like
Mhm.
time for people to reflect. What the hell did we just see in those first 4 weeks from the Buccaneers? Like, holy crap, Baker Mayfield, is he rejuvenated and actually back to being a good player again? Like, I guess that's what the hype is. And do we
Yeah.
consistently do that moving forward is a question. Like, is Baker going to be the same person we saw the first 4 weeks, the first quarter of the season, pretty much? And yeah, that's questionable, right? Because everyone thinks he's going to come back down to the mean, which is interceptions, bad quarterback play. But it's more stuff we've been harping on, like the system working in the quarterback's favor. Like, what an offensive coordinator that knows what he's doing can help an offense, right? So you hope. Well, I mean, to be honest, like, proof is in the pudding. You've seen it. Yeah, they were making adjustments almost every week to week. So I don't see it getting worse. I see a lot of changes every week as opposed to the same crap, same crap every week.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there. I think it's going to be important that the Buccaneers make those adjustments. We've talked about it off air. I think more of the big plays are coming, the deep shots,
Yep.
looking for opportunities there. And I mentioned it yesterday in the video that I put out. The X factor is this Buccaneers running game. Can it come together? Can it add more to the offense where they can utilize the play action and be more aggressive down the field, get those chunk plays that we're looking for. And defensively, I think for them, the X factor is Cancy. Cancy coming back this week looks like he's going to be good to go, starting to practice again. So you're hoping he can, provide an impact, and you can really see the Todd Bowles defense come to life and how he wants to, utilize it. And other guys like Logan Hall and Vita Vea can, play well and come together.
Yeah, I'm interested to see. Like, we only saw 12 snaps of him,
Yeah.
what he could be, because no one. That's another X factor, like you just mentioned. No one knows. I mean, yeah, the Buccaneers know what they saw in the offseason. They know what they graded out when they drafted him. We don't truly know if he truly is that much of an impact player just yet, even though he's proven he can get after the quarterback. You don't know if he's like going to be a mainstay where you're like, don't take that man off the field, because that guy literally makes us a total different team when he's on it. So, and that's one thing I kind of was mentioning earlier with you. Like, the Bucks don't get all the hype because they don't have the polarizing players, right? Yes, Baker Mayfield may be one of them. Other than that, Mike Evans, okay, big target. No one ever talks about him as being the top receiver in the league. Chris
Right.
Godwin never gets mentioned as that. But we here see this week in, week out, and it's consistent play. Guys getting open nonstop. It's not just because we're down or having to force the pass. No, they're actually running correct routes, getting the ball. And defensively, we have them all over the place, but it's more of a team defense. It's not one polarizing guy like a Nick Bosa or Aiden Hutchinson, guys where it's all world. Okay, let's look up to these guys. Our big polarizing guy is 350 pounds, which rightfully so. He is a nasty game wrecker, but defensive tackles don't get the notoriety they used to back in the day, like Warren Sapp, John Raynol, those guys.
Right. No, you're absolutely right. It's yeah, like you said, it's a team defense. Even though we do have, really good players, like you said, Anthony David, um, Devin White, Vita Vea, et cetera, all those guys can play. We just don't get the national media on our sides. A lot of people were picking us to finish last in this
Yep.
division, and most of them are surprised that we're in first place. So I mean, it just shows you this is a week to week league, and the Buccaneers are right in the middle of things. They're a very good team that's going to be competitive week in, week out. Even our loss against the Eagles, we're in that game. Even though it didn't look like it, we were still in the game towards the end of end of the fourth quarter there. So yeah, I mean, you have the problems fixed, and that's the offensive coordinator with Dave Canales coming in and helping this offense be more efficient and effective. And like you said, now we just gotta see if these guys can be consistent. Can Baker Mayfield continue to play like he is right now? And can we build upon that? That's gonna be the biggest thing, moving forward.
Yeah, a lot of it's just don't beat yourself, and that's something that they hit home with Baker. Don't throw
Right.
interceptions and suffer the whole team. Like we need to literally, if you're gonna make a calculated risk, make it calculated. Make it a deep route you're throwing an interception, or in the sideline
Right.
where it's less likely, right?
Yeah.
And that's one thing where I think this moving forward, if you think about it, every game there's been a close opportunity or it was an interception where he's throwing it like right in the defender's hands. You hope that's
Mhm.
limited, right? Because I mean, what we got lucky with in some of these games, we may not get in this future long run where there's not many bye weeks or there's not another bye. Okay, so you
Yeah.
can't really crunch the numbers again. Okay, Baker, why are you throwing it into this coverage? Like he was there to begin with, and he was there when you threw it. So what were you seeing? This is what they had to go over. So I'm hoping we don't see that. I know Baker's been playing phenomenal, but still, like the teams are going to catch up on these habits that he's throwing right into a defender's hand almost every game. I mean, I think
Mhm.
I can almost call it every game. Vikings game, Bears game, uh, Eagles. He actually threw one, and
Yeah.
then this past one he threw one against the Saints. Yes, it was right into the guy's hand, but he also almost threw another one that was right into the guy's hand. So
Mhm.
it's he's got to limit that because if the offense doesn't shoot itself in the foot, the defense is good enough to keep you in every game. And that's
Yeah.
the biggest thing Todd Bowles talked about. That's the biggest thing why he brought in Dave Canales. And I think, like you were saying, the X factor of the running game, if that starts getting there, if that starts developing anything, this offense is
Mhm.
going to be extremely dynamic.
Yeah, for sure. And we've already seen this offense, facilitate Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Obviously that's the game plan, getting them the football, finding ways to be creative and getting them targets, right? Now the next step is I think you're going to see, yeah, if that running game can be efficient where it can average, 4 yards a carry, we can be in a whole different thing with then you start incorporating more Trey Palmer, more
Yep.
Devin Tompkins that we started to see down the field shots, use of the tight end more, whether it be Kate Otten or maybe the running backs as well, Rashad White, that's going to be important. So yeah, I mean, I think it's just an evolution. And like you said, it's making sure the offense is not getting caught up by the opponent. Like the opponent's catching up to this offense and understanding their tendencies. So that'll be big for Dave to maybe come out this week and do something we haven't seen yet. Maybe do some more trick plays that we saw against New Orleans with like the pass from Chris Godwin or, something of that nature where you can keep these teams off balance. I think that will be important. Um, but the main thing is these guys are getting healthy. And I think you're getting healthy on the defensive side of the ball. We already mentioned with Kalijah Cancy. It looks like Jamel Dean, Servassier Dennis, Ryan Neal, all these guys are going to be ready to go. So that's huge for the depth, and that just makes you that much better moving forward.
Yeah. And then we're facing a team that isn't coming off of a bye. You had 2 weeks to
Right.
kind of study, see what their best traits are. And then you have them with injuries. They're
Yeah.
suffering from injuries. One of their top corners are out. So,
Yes.
I mean, you got to attack weaknesses. You hope Canales is thinking of that. Yeah, then like it's the one thing. Yeah, everyone's like, oh well, they're gonna start catching up onto our tendencies.
Mm.
Okay, yeah, if they start you, that's where you adjust. I mean, Canales has made adjustments every game. Everyone
Yeah.
gets mad about the one game we lost. Oh, he was being stubborn with the run. He's still gonna run. It's more when is he gonna run? And he
Mm.
himself mentioned that in a press conference. I'm going to continue to run the ball, but I need to learn when I need to run it, when I need to hold back. He's still going to run it no matter what, because you got to keep that balance. And that's something, again, Todd Bowles loves about him and wants him to do. So just, I guess, feel it out, guys, because the running game can't be this bad consistently and you can expect to win. So they're going to need to get reps, both the linemen and the running backs, to view where those holes are going to be. And those linemen need to hold those blocks a little bit longer because they haven't been. So it's not all on the running backs, not all on the offensive line. There needs to be a better marriage between the two.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's a group effort, and if anyone listened to, I think it was JC Allen's podcast with Dave Canales, listening to that, Dave talked about how it takes time. It takes time for this run game to come together. It took Seattle, a couple years to get it where they wanted to, because it is a mentality. It's a group effort. So hopefully we can start to see that those runs starting to become more effective and lead to more explosive runs, because we know, like, just based on what we saw from Rachaad White, we know he has the ability. Like, the ability is there. I don't think that's the question. I think it's just right now he's probably thinking a little bit too much, hesitating a little bit, maybe not seeing it as fast as he needs to, and that just comes with time and familiarity, with the team. And these guys have to block it right, because you're doing mid zone runs, you're doing tight zone, you're doing inside zone. There's a lot of different blocking schemes with those different angles. So it's all muscle memory. Those hands have to be in the right spot, to make these things work. So
yeah, it's not as easy as see hole, hit hole. I mean,
yeah,
they've got to see where is it developing into. Yes, the plan is to open up an alleyway here, but he still has to read which alleyway is opening up. He can't just immediately go. And then sometimes it's designed to go to one way. If he's forced to look right, but there's a giant hole all the way over there, why didn't he go over there? Well, it wasn't designed to go there, and he didn't think to go that way. So, I mean, it can't all be on Rachaad White. It can't be all on the line like I just mentioned. But it's got to get better. I mean, there's no excuse. Yeah, the pass blocking has been phenomenal. Baker's been playing great. The receivers, besides the Eagles game, have been playing great. And we just need to see it more consistently. And that's what great teams do, play consistent ball. And that's how they win games. It's like not shooting yourself in the foot, doing all the little things right. And if you look at every game we've won, that's the reason why we won it. The only game we lost is because we're dropping the ball, penalties, interceptions, turnovers, doing all the things bad teams do. So don't be a bad team.
Yeah. I mean, just, looking at, those first four games, I think and we talked about it last week, with the Saints win, beating them last weekend, just what this team is doing so far. They're doing it well. Obviously, playing well on third down, for the most part. Third down offense has been really good. Third down defense needs to improve a little bit. They're, giving up around 47%, which that's not great. You want to have that number lower.
It's 50.
So you want to have that number, under 40 if possible. It was much better against the Saints. They only allowed 5, third downs. Obviously holding them to 9 points. That was great. So you kind of seen it where we haven't really played our best game yet as a team, like full complete. Like the Saints was probably the most complete game we've played in a while, top to bottom. And even then, there was mistakes made. Obviously the interception before the half, you don't want to see that, even though we did score. You had 11 penalties as well. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, these are all good things. It's all growing things, right? And the interception, albeit bad, it wasn't a scheme error. It was just a
physical
error. So it's all correctable things. Like, is the same crap he said during the Eagles game. Everyone's like, "Oh, you think it was because you were running the ball?" He's like, "No, it's not a scheme thing.
No,
we just need to convert when the conversion's there." It's literally how simple the Eagles game was. If you start catching the ball when the ball hits your hands, you stay in bounds. The chains keep moving, and the ball keeps staying on your hand, and the time of possession starts racking up on your favor. You got to convert. Good teams do this. I mean, it's not. Don't give me it was 3rd and 8. It should have been 3rd and 2. It doesn't matter. You got the ball to convert, and you dropped it. You got the ball to catch the touchdown, you dropped it. It's not all on Mike Evans, but a majority of those passes were Mike Evans' fault. Kate Otten drawing it up perfectly for you on a tight end screen, you drop it. So you can't have those issues. That sums it up pretty much right there. So you just need to see a clean game where if I'm throwing to a receiver catches the ball. But that's not talking trash. It's just talking how it's supposed to be. And I like seeing some of the good hyping here. 12-5 checkmate. I hope so. I mean, that's what Tristan Wirf said at the beginning of the season. But yes, let's touch on that. So let's get away from bashing and seeing how they should do, and let's actually look at what the competition is moving forward, I guess. So let's look at the Lions and what are people saying about what are our probability of winning or losing against, I guess, the Lions. Let's look at that.
Yeah, I mean the Lions are a really good football team. I mean, right now, if you guys like PFF, like they're top of the board. They're really good. So they have the number one quarterback right now, according to PFF. They have a lot of like just top players. Offensive line's very good. They know how to put up points. And it's funny, the one team that's beat them was the Seattle Seahawks. But yeah, you look at that front five, really good offensive line, big, physical, with Taylor Decker, Jonah Jackson's really good, Frank Ragnow. I'm not sure if Vitae is playing the right guard, but Graham Glasnow has usually been in there at right guard. He's been playing outstanding. And then they have Penei Sewell, who's a stud. You know, he was another high draft pick, you know, top 10 pick. He was selected right before, who is that? Or no, he's after, I forget which draft, 21 draft. So he was picked high though. And again, Jared Goff at quarterback, they traded for him. That was a huge trade for their team. And then getting David Montgomery, I mean, huge addition. Jamar Gibbs, and again, he's injured right now. Jamar is. You look at the receivers. Amon St. Brown, he missed last game with an injury. So those things are things to watch for. See how they practice this week. Obviously, getting Jameson Williams back, another speed threat. That's going to be. He always brings that extra dimension, but they just have a really solid team. Josh Reynolds, very underrated, but they're physical. I mean, that's how they play. Their head coach, they follow how their head coach is. So,
yeah, I mean, so looking at them, I saw someone today compare them to the 49ers. They're like both great offensive lines, both have great edge rushers, like Bosa, Aiden Hutchinson, both have a running mentality. Right? And why? Because they have such a great offensive line. We just face a team with a great offensive line in the Eagles, and we lost that game because they ended up taking over in the second half based off of running the ball. A lot of that, it's a whole game. It's not just one reason, because their offensive line was so great. Earlier on, we stopped them on fourth down on our own goal line, turnover on downs. We're successfully well. But the thing is, if you keep doing that, you keep pounding dirt, you're going to end up start losing. And that's why it's a complementary game. The offense has to help you. So even though they are so stacked on their offensive line, the weapons themselves, Amon-Ra St. Brown, scares me. But I would say him and Sam Laporta, those are the only two ones that kind of really scare me. The running game, I think we can early on shut it down. If the offense starts helping them out, it's only going to be even better. So, yes, offensive line. If you have a great O-line, it's going to be tough because it gives you longer time to pass, easier holes to run through. So it is going to be a very challenging game, and I think that's why it always does start up front.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, their offense coordinator, Ben Johnson, is probably one of the best OCs in this game right now. He's probably going to be a head coach sometime either next year or the year after that. He does a great job of scheming things. He puts Jared Goff in a great position to be successful. They utilize a lot of play action passing, a lot of motion, pre-snap motion. So it's very similar to, that Rams offense that we've seen before with Jared Goff. It's just he's off that tree of the Kyle Shanahan type. So that's why San Francisco gets mentioned a lot with Detroit, because they run similar offenses. It's just a little bit more physical, I would say, with Detroit's because they really commit to that run game. You look at Goff's numbers last game or yesterday, he was 20 of 28, so only had 28 passing attempts, but they ran the football efficiently, and again, he was efficient as well. So they just know how to attack defenses, and they don't try to put their players in bad positions. So it's going to be key for the Buccaneers, up front. Vita Vea, can Kalijah Cancy make an impact? Shaq Barrett, JTS, they're going to have good games and find ways to pressure the quarterback, and that starts with mixing up that blitz game with Devin White. Hopefully, Devin is full go this week, has his speed back, and really can chase and get after the quarterback. That would be nice to see. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting because I do think we match up well in the secondary. I think secondary wise, we can match up with their guys. Izzy against St. Brown, that will be a fun matchup if that does happen. And then you have, Davis and Dean on the outside. I think they can, check with the other guys up front. So yeah, that will be something to look for sure. But getting to the offense versus their defense, I think that's where we can have some edges. Aiden Hutchinson is obviously the one you have to watch out for. Aleem McNeil is playing pretty good football. So he's a big boy in the middle. But, looking at their secondary, I think that's where we're going to have some opportunities, especially if Mike Evans is good to go. I know Brian Branch has played really well, but I think on the outside with Cam Sutton and Jerry Jacobs, who's probably going to be their outside corner, that's where you can find ways to attack. And I also think you can attack their linebackers as well in coverage. I know Alex Anzalone, he's been good, but he struggles in coverage. He's kind of similar to Devin White in that aspect, where just not as good. It's a part of their game where it's up and down. So,
yeah, I mean, but either way, like household names, yeah, give it what it is. They're winning because their front's winning. Like in Hudson, Aleem McNeil, those are bigger guys and they deserve attention. But the back end, I mean, did you see that Seattle game? There was high score. I think it was like almost 40 something.
Yeah,
it was high up.
And it was 38-31. I think was the final. When it went into overtime.
Yeah, so I mean, and they have who similar to what we have: DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, two dominant receivers on the outside. It's going to be tough to cover Mike Evans and Chris Godwin on the outside, especially when one of your guys is banged up and you're relying on a rookie to be heavily involved. I know that rookie's playing phenomenal, but still, there's intricacies of the offense where they make you think one thing and it's something else. If you start getting a running game going, look out, because then you got to start thinking multiple things. It's when you get one dimensional. That's why I say we have to continue running. That's why he wants to be so stubborn, because if you start getting one dimensional, the defense starts getting one dimensional. Thinking, okay, well, they can't do this, so they have to do this. So I don't have to worry about anything else. So in my opinion, yes, like I agree with you. Like that secondary can get worked on. And if you get a running back out on the edge against one of these linebackers, I will take that. And to add to it, the reasoning why, like we were mentioning about the running game, Rashad White is learning. Sean Tucker was learning. Sneak is learning. The only guy that actually had experience in it who looked phenomenal before he got hurt was Chase Edmonds. And we only saw a sprinkle of what the hell it could be. So you need to have time in the system. It's something that's going to get better with time, but with what we're facing right here, I would assume we're going to start throwing the ball. Throw the ball to open up the running game. And that's something we always talk about, but this is a good opportunity to actually make that happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I think what you'll see is, obviously, there's going to be, max protection at times just to help out with, it is, to help out with Aiden Hutchinson, making sure he's, checked and, probably double teamed at times. Because even though Luke Gedeke is playing phenomenal, you don't want to leave him on an island, too many times against Aiden Hutchinson, especially the guy who's leading the league in pressures right now. And he's got a lot of bags, a lot of tricks in his bag for sure. So, that is, I think you're right. We're going to definitely, I think, come out throwing. Throwing is where I think you'll find the advantage point, especially if we have Mike Evans in there alongside Chris Godwin, and it can utilize some of these guys, Kate Otten, down the seam, see what kind of adjustments they come out with, especially after, learning and figuring out what works well during the bye week. So that'll be important. But, Detroit is playing confidently. They're on a high. Obviously, they beat the crap out of the Panthers, 42 to, I think it was 21, I believe. So handled them pretty well. So now they're coming down here to Tampa. It's going to be a 4:25 start. Not going to be too hot, so we really won't have the heat advantage. But yeah, I mean, I think we match up well. I think it's going to be a good game. It's just going to come down to, like it always does, can we protect the football? Can we find ways to turn it over against Detroit and force Jared Goff into some bad decisions, which he has shown in the past he can do. It's just, can we get him to do that this time around? And I think last time we played him was in Los Angeles, and we did force turnovers against him. So that's something hopefully we can, do again.
Yeah. So, I mean, let's bring this up. So I'm bringing the Seattle Lions game. So if you think of a close comparison, what we have, Seattle's offense, pretty much what we have, 37 points against the Dolphins, the Detroit Lions defense.
Yeah.
So, I mean, 328 yards, 2 touchdowns. The running game, they're stout there because they have bigger players there, but it's the consistency of wanting to run the ball as well as throw the ball. It was back and forth. It was even. It was close the whole entire game. I mean, that's why it went to OT. It was back, like there was no 21-0 point. It was back and forth, back and forth. So it's going to be competitive, I think. I mean, Baker is a competitive guy. We have weapons all over the field. I do not see where we're going to get routed. Like someone was saying it up here. Like, where is it?
Oh, well, I think he was just Darius Miller was saying it. He was thinking they would steamroll us after putting up 42. So that's like the outside noise, outside opinion, which.
But it's just funny. We always buy that.
I don't think that's going to happen. This defense is too good. I think our defense is better than Seattle's. Yeah, it's better than the Panthers for sure. Panthers are just a bad football team, and I still laugh at it every day that people actually pick them to win the division. So I just find that funny. I give Brett Coleman, if Brett Coleman's watching this show, man, I give you tons of shit for it every day I can, because it was a bad pick. And I remind him on Twitter every day, even though I love his content. I love what you're doing, Brett, but that was just not it. It was not it at all.
He said you could win a game in January. The only team in the division that could win a game in January.
Yeah. Right. No.
Damn.
No.
But
anyways, I think it's going to be a great game. It's going to be a lot of fun. I think the Buccaneers are going to be hyped, just because, wearing the creamsicle jerseys for the first time since 2012. Coming off a bye week, you're going to be well rested. I think the only thing we have to be worried about is, do we come out flat? I think that's the only thing we have to make sure we don't do, is we have to be ready to play right when that first minute starts and come out, firing. That's going to be important.
Yeah, I guess that is one concern, like you just mentioned. Do we come out flat? Do they come out thinking, oh, we are really that good because look at what we did in the first half?
Right.
Or do they stay hungry, competitive, and like, oh no, that's just the beginning, and we're going to show you what the hell we are, because we had 2 weeks to prepare. This team that you're thinking is going to be the next one, no, we're going to show you who is the one, right?
Yeah.
Like, who has the demeanor? Who's going to be grabbing? I mean, Devin White, heard his little press conference today. He's ready, and they learned lessons from the Eagles, and they're going to prove it against the Lions. That's what you hope happens. Defensively, I think we have enough of veteran guys that can literally tell them, no, we're not going to do this. This is what we are. Stay consistent with it. Offensively, can Baker round up the troops? Can he calm them down, realize, okay, against the Eagles, we messed up. We need to keep fixing these little issues, not force the habit. So I don't know. I genuinely think they're going to be doing pretty damn good. I don't want to say they're going to. I just don't see it being a bloodbath in either way. I just think it's going to be a very competitive game because both are stacked in certain areas. But I'm going to pull for the Bucs. Let's be honest about that, because I don't think
Mhm.
the Lions are what the Eagles are just yet,
Yeah.
and rightfully so. The Eagles' defense is stacked. This defense
Mhm.
isn't the Eagles.
Yeah.
Their offensive line is very comparable, yeah. Running game comparable, yeah. The commitment to run, hell yeah. But again, they don't have the weapons that the Eagles have on the outside either. AJ Brown's a huge monster. Devontae Parker, speed, or Devontae Smith, speed to burn. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't think they have all that. And if we can compete against that, I think we can compete against the Lions and almost win that game. We should win that game.
Mhm. Yeah, I think, this comment says it best. We talked about this, Seahawks had success throwing the football. I think that's what Dave is going to come out, try to do, establish the play action passing game, open up that running game through the pass. I think that'll be a great strategy for the offense. We just have to make sure we, do it the smart way, take care of the football, score inside the red zone is going to be important. And then on defense, like Ken says, I mean, Jared Goofball will fall apart if we get good pressure. Yeah, I think, that's going to be very important. Even though he's just been money so far this year. He's playing at a great level. Even when he is pressured, he is getting the football out on time and accurate. So he's making plays even if he is pressured. So that's going to be, it's going to be tough. I mean, pressure and coverage are going to have to work together. I think it'll be exciting to see if Cancy and Vita Vea can destroy, up front and get that interior pressure that we're looking for. But they're going up against a good offensive line all the way through. So it's going to be a dogfight. I mean, they're going to have to come out physical and stop the Detroit Lions run game. David Montgomery, you got to get bodies to him because he's hard to tackle.
Mhm.
He's very physical. So they're going to have to make sure they're in their gaps, maintain and try to limit him to 3 yards or less. And, you just got to put the game in Jared Goff's hands and try to make him, give you some mistakes.
And that's the thing, though. Like in years past, I feel like
Mm.
Bucks have always succeeded against Jared Goff.
Yeah, they
I
have.
mean, I don't think he's been a Bucks beater, as opposed to like some of these guys that always are backups that beat the crap out of us.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, I know 2019 we played him. That was Todd Bowles played him up in Los Angeles with Jameis Winston. That was that crazy game. We did give up a lot of points. But that was mainly because Jameis was turning the ball over, or
and
our defense wasn't as good either, as they are now. Especially in the secondary. It wasn't the same because we didn't have Antoine Winfield Jr. that year. And Dean and Davis weren't exactly what they are now.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, I mean, we did have some success against him. Shaq Barrett went off in that game. He forced a couple of turnovers.
I think he had a pick too.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
Yep.
caught it.
He
Yeah,
had a pick. So yeah, I mean, and I'm not sure if we faced him anytime recently. I don't think we faced him. Did we face him with Detroit?
I don't think so. Oh,
I think we might have faced Detroit, but Detroit, I think he might have got injured or something. We might have injured him. I thought we played him in 2020 or maybe it was 2021. Yeah, because we did play them. Because what's his name went in? Blaine Gabbert went in the game. We were up big.
oh yeah,
Yeah, so we did play him.
that was.
And I think we did well. Or maybe he was out. Maybe he wasn't playing at the time. Or he could have been with Los Angeles
I
still.
don't think they had him yet
Yeah, they didn't have him yet. That's right.
because there was
Yeah.
like some David Blau or something like that.
That's right.
What
That's
the hell
right.
was
That's
it?
right.
I think
Yeah.
James was still here too. I think.
No, that was 2020. It was
Was
Tom Brady year. Yeah. Yeah. Darius Miller. Yeah. Darius Miller put it up there. Yeah.
37-7.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
I
right.
mean, we did.
That,
Yeah, Gronk
yeah.
got a touchdown. Yeah.
Yeah. That was the only way. Okay. Yeah. He was in LA Rams in 2020. Okay. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that's going to be the key anywhere you put it. You have to find ways to confuse him and try to get him doing something he doesn't want to do. So,
But I mean, that's part of the game, though, right? Like that's
yeah,
why
yeah,
Bulls' defenses are so crazy because you don't know who's coming. And I think
right.
looking at the teams they face, yeah, the Chiefs they beat by 1 point. Let's look at the schedule. Let's do this together.
Mm.
Chiefs beat by 1 point. Okay.
Yeah,
Seahawks
Chiefs
got
are
beat.
good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Lions versus Falcons. Yeah, Falcons.
Yeah.
I agree. They aren't the greatest team. Desmond Ritter
No,
is
we
not the
know.
greatest quarterback, so that's why they didn't score points. But how did the Falcons defense hold them to 20? But here's where they're
Right.
really good. I still
Yeah.
think that is an outlier. I think they are a good offense that knows how to score because they've run the ball so well.
Yeah.
You slow
Yeah.
down that run, you're not going to see a 40-something point game. I think, again, look at the quarterbacks they played, though. You got a rookie,
Yeah.
a second-year quarterback. You had Jordan Love.
Yeah. So it's really you're facing offenses that are not helping out their defense
Yeah.
because the Detroit is just controlling the ball throughout the whole game.
Yeah.
And really when you look at the Seattle game, that's the difference, right? Seattle was controlling the ball as well. They're moving the ball through the air, keeping, first downs going, mixing in their run game a little bit here and there. But the main thing is they were scoring. They were finding ways to score in the red zone, getting those explosives. So that's the key. You have to play balanced football, complementary, and making sure you're keeping your defense off the field as much as possible.
And this was a Travis Kelce-less Chiefs.
Right.
Well.
Yeah.
So, like, they didn't have any weapons.
Yep.
That's crazy to think it's only Travis Kelce there right now because everyone else either drops the ball or just doesn't know where the hell they catch it.
Yeah.
But
I mean, you could do it 20. You could do it the flip side with the Buccaneers as well. Facing a Minnesota team that obviously hasn't been very good this year. You beat them in their place again, 20-17, where, and the Bucs haven't been full steam ahead either. Cause again, you're learning a new offense. You're trying to figure things out. You beat a Chicago team that, finally got some wins or at least put a win together against Washington. And then you look at the Eagles, didn't play our best game. We lost, obviously. They were a better team. And then the Saints, we pretty much handled. I mean, we took care of business, punched them right in the mouth and took care of it. So, yep.
But I mean, again, like it wasn't even that bad. We lost 25-11.
Yeah.
It felt bad because the offense couldn't really get anything going.
Right.
It was self-inflicted stuff. It's not like the Eagles are punching the ball out or anything. We're dropping the ball.
Mm.
It was the Bucs beating the Bucs. And it's like, yes, the interception and the punch out by what's his name? Jalen Carter, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that was epic. Yeah. But that is something a defensive tackle shouldn't make it from behind a running back and fumble it out. Like that's Rachaad White's got to hold on to that damn ball.
Yeah.
But either way, that's an insane play. Still, only to allow 25 points to a team that supposedly beat our asses. I mean, your defense still did their job. Your offense just has to do something. That's what we've always been saying. So keep complimentary football, move the chains, try for anything. Just get a first down, like rest your defense, because the defense is doing their thing. All the special teams has been doing their thing. Really, it's whenever the offense starts clicking, this team's going to be really damn dynamic and exciting to watch. Because what we keep saying it, we want to see a 30-point game. Will this be it?
It could be. I mean, you scored. We had 26 the last game, so I mean, you're getting closer. But yeah, I mean, it's just can they put things together? Can they, make those adjustments that they saw the first 4 weeks that teams are probably going to key in on, and can we, hit those big shots down the field? I think that's going to be very important. But yeah, it should be a good game. I mean,
I'll say this.
I'm excited. Yeah.
So Ken Smith said here, I mean, it's a broken record at this point. I think we can beat anyone as long as Baker doesn't turn off the ball. Obviously, got to clean up the drops. It's a broken record because every team says the same stuff. That's how winning's done. It's consistency. That's what they mean by consistency. It's a broken record because you keep doing it over and over correctly.
Yeah.
So if you keep doing it over and over incorrectly, that's how you get Jameis. That's pretty much what it is. And why was Tom Brady so damn good? Because he would always make the right decision, even though it was such a simple decision. He'd make it over and over and over again, and the defense would get pissed. And when the defense got pissed and over exaggerated their defense, he could read it and attack them. It was just that simple. And we just need to be that annoying consistent. And again, what is Canal saying? I'm going to be stubborn. I'm going to consistently do this. and it's going to eventually get there. And that's what we got to be patient with. Not necessarily over one loss, act like the offensive coordinator's tail. Like sometimes media just blows my mind. Like you just had the Byron Leftwich for I don't know how long, and now you get mad over one game. It's funny. But go
Yeah.
on, bless. I'll stop.
No, you're good. Absolutely. No, right about that. It's about building, consistency. It's about building, traits and things that you can count on week to week. And I think that's something that the Buccaneers are trying to do. Obviously, right now, what's working is Baker Mayfield being smart with the football, converting on third downs. I think this is something I've touched on with you and also on Twitter is like, I think sometimes they're playing for third down too much. I would like to see them be a little bit more aggressive on first down, obviously throwing the football first to open up things for the run game. You can get a first down on first down. Like that is allowed. I think that's something that they got to try to do more of instead of, oh, here we go. We're going to play for 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5, which is fine. That's convertible. That's manageable. But I think at times it leads to too many 3rd and 8s where, not every time you're going to convert that, especially when you face a better team.
Yep.
If it's, Detroit or Philly or San Francisco, who we have on the docket, those are, things you just can't do. So I'm hoping that's what Dave is seeing, understanding the run game flow a little bit better, understanding when to run the football, understanding when to pass and be aggressive. Because like the Saints was a perfect example. He came out, he threw the ball to Mike Evans on first down to start the game, right? It was a beautiful design, a little, out route to, a corner route to the sideline, perfect timing, first down Tampa Bay. Like that is stuff that you got to see, moving forward. I think that's how you have to attack teams because that gets teams to back off, right? It gets teams like, oh shit, they're coming out, we're throwing, because most teams they're, when they're playing defense on first down, a lot of teams are playing cover 3, cover 4, cover 2 most of the time. So there's space there to be had, right? That's why it makes sense to pass the football on first down because you can take advantage of what they're giving you. You got to take those yards.
Yeah, and look at the teams that do it so well, which we pattern our offense from 49ers and the Dolphins. Pretty much the same guys. All they're doing is every team, they just want to get comfortable. Let me just get comfortable. Let's stay in our sets. You know your job. You know your job. If you can't even be comfortable from the first snap of the damn game because everyone's in motion, holy shit, they're throwing the ball deep. Oh, now they're running it short. What the hell? What are they going to consistently do? Everyone's like, oh, what is your team identity? Yeah, you get your team identity. You're just a running team. You're the Ravens. Stop looking for just identity. Look for what you're supposed to execute well. And I get they get so caught up on such an old way of thinking. Oh, we're a running team. Oh no, we're a passing team. No, you should be both. It's just the mentality that he's mentioning of when you do run the ball, you need to have that mentality, run through that damn man, maintain your block so your running back can see the damn hole. And if we're passing the ball, we're confusing the hell out of them. And when you're getting open, you got to hit it, Baker. Because there are people getting open, you're going to just make that throw. And like what Corey Wilson was saying here, I would like for us to get our speed guys. I know it's spell checks going on. And speed guys and Palmer and Tompkins to stretch the defense. And he talked about that with J.C. Allen. Guys are getting open. Baker just needs to make that throw. And this is what the bye week is for. Seeing that, getting familiar with, okay, if they're in this defense, I know that usually does open up. So it's time to hit it. And that's where a good OC will remind the quarterback. Once the quarterback sees it the second time, we keep hearing how good Baker's mentality is or his memory is. Well, damn it. Start getting that deep ball going because Palmer and Tompkins have been open on deep shots.
Yeah, for sure. I think that is, that's what they have to incorporate. That's the adjustment I've been talking about. That's what they have to do. They have to hit those plays, down the middle of the field, down the sidelines. It's going to be there. So, can we see that this weekend? I hope so. I hope that's the plan and we can hit on some of those big plays because that really changes the game. And not only does what that does is it backs up the safeties for the opposing team. It allows you to run against, lesser man boxes up front where, and that's what the Dolphins are having success with. Like they don't face 7-8 man boxes because you have to worry about Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle going by you. So but also they're very creative with their run. Like they do a lot of toss plays, they do a lot of reverses. It's a lot of movement. Um, and the Buccaneers, I think they don't do a lot of that because they know, they're just not there yet. Like that's just not what they're it's not a strength yet. They're trying to build that where you get the mid zone game running and going. Um, but again, it's a work in progress. But I think if they can hit those deep shots, that's going to make it a lot easier to run the football. And hopefully that's something we can see this weekend.
Yeah, and hey guys, I know we're really talking up JC Allen's interview with Dave Canales, but anytime Dave Canales speaks, listen, because he gives you so many answers to questions you may have had. He doesn't just answer with a yes. He doesn't do the Belichick. Yes, that's what I thought. He gives you his thought process, which is awesome. So like he went into the running game. They're like, oh, why don't we do any outside runs? He's like, well, it usually stretches. Yeah, you may have one that goes for 70, but you have so many that go for -3, -2, 1, 0. He's like, I'm looking for the averages of getting more yards moving forward, the north and south, just to get the inside runs that kind of get you to where you need to be, where people start funneling inside so that we can develop the over the top or behind that linebacker. Yeah, east and west works, but he's using his wide receivers to do that. He's not really using the running backs. Let's stretch it all the hell the way outside.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's cool to hear his way of thinking, especially in the running game. And I think it is going to be just a repetition thing. Like we haven't run the ball well for years. How do you expect them to run the ball immediately great to start the season? We're historically bad last year. Historically bad. A la left pitch.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. Do want to answer this question. I think we already spoke about it. I think you say, is it pronounced Nunya? Yeah, Nunya. He thinks or he's asking Kalijah Cancy playing this week. I think he's going to go. He was back practicing today, even though it's a bonus practice. So we'll have to wait and see, how Wednesday, Thursday, Friday goes. But I think for the most part, he'll be back this week in some type of capacity, whether that's, all the way or limited snaps. The main thing is I think he'll be out there and, hopefully we can see an impact from him because that'll be awesome if we can get some, disruption up the middle and use his speed in different ways. That'll open up things for, Vita Vea and company.
Well, if he plays, I'm going to be locked in the entire game watching him. Like, I just feel like you're going to see some fun things. Like, it's just funny because if you start leaning to think, oh, I got to lean over to Cancy's speed, and then Vita Vea plows over your ass because you're leaning, it's just crazy. That would make everyone so much better. Yeah. Just a guy that can do something like that. And we already talk about how good Vita Vea is. If you can get someone else that's good next to him, it's just, yes, you can make your defense that much better because it's going to accelerate the process of the offense so much faster. And yeah, so I just want to see what the hell you can do with a whole game. And that film study is going to be fun too. I say that.
Yeah, absolutely. So it'd be great to get him back. And like Mark says, it opens up a lot for the defense. I know Todd Bowles is ready to, unleash what he had planned going into the season. We saw just a little bit of it, against Minnesota. So that'll be great to have him, back and, obviously getting other guys back, Jamal Dean back in there. And, what does that do for the secondary with Zion McCollum playing so well? I mean, it just presents, good opportunities. It provides competition because now Jamal Dean knows he's got to play a lot better because Zion's right there. He's been playing very well. Now you get a bigger piece on special teams, which is great. Zion McCollum back at gunner. I think that'll help out your coverage team, which is awesome. So yeah, it's the bye week came at the right time, getting healthy, getting everyone back. I think that will be, huge for this team. And now we have to see if they can, make I want to say a statement game. I guess it could be a statement game, but it's a big opportunity for this team to, put themselves right in the map of things of the NFC and, show to, not just Bucs fans, but around the the NFL that this team is coming and they're going to compete, and make an appearance in the playoffs. I think that's the goal right now.
Yeah. I mean, it's take it one game at a time. I know
Mm,
Ken Smith was asking about the 49ers and stuff like that.
yeah.
That's a whole other echelon. I mean, the Lions are where we think we were around. I mean, that's where we're thinking our competition level is. Like the Eagles and 49ers are at another level to me.
Yeah.
So right now, I think this is the biggest measuring stick. Like I think everyone knew kind of like the Eagles. I mean, you're plays away from winning the championship, and then they come and face us. We're learning on the go. I
Mm,
think the Lions are very much more comparison for the Buccaneers, and if we win that one, and I think it's based on that. I think it's going to be that close. Two
mm,
well coached teams, two teams that know what they want to do. It's just okay, who gets the advantage of getting what the hell they want to do when they want to do it. And we just can't allow the Lions to run the ball. We need to pass to open up our run because if we start doing that and getting them off kilter, I think our defense is better than the Lions. That's just how I see it.
mm.
And it's just can the offense be complementary to help them out? Because if you let the defense sit out dry, yes, you're gonna see them. Everyone complain the defense didn't play good. Well, leave them out there that long.
Yeah, absolutely. Nunya with another great question about Sean Tucker. Um, do you think it's a mistake for not giving him more playing time? I'll let you take that one.
I mean, their justification was Keyshawn Vaughn's experience against the Saints.
Mm,
I can maybe see that. I don't know. I think it's still very, very early on. I mean, I'm not going to say, oh, we should have force fed them anything.
mm,
Uh, I don't know. Maybe they were just kind of give them a breather to kind of figure out, okay, what are you missing? What are you not doing? It's not like he was going to be night and day better than Sneak was in the Saints game. Was it a mistake? No. There's plenty more plenty more ball to play, so he's going
yeah.
to get his opportunities.
Yeah, I agree with that. Also, a great point here by Al Bundy, one of my favorites, always in the comments. It's good to see you. He says this is a huge game. We don't want the 4th seed. If we win the division, we want the 3rd seed, so we can avoid playing the Cowboys or Eagles. Well, obviously the 3rd seed would be great. And Detroit is probably our competition for that 3rd seed. So it's an important game, especially if you're looking down the road. But at the end of the day, it's one game, like Mark said earlier. If it's a loss, it's not going to kill the season. If you win, obviously it puts you in a great spot, puts you ahead of schedule.
Mhm.
Um, but then the next week you play the Falcons, and that's a bigger game probably because it's division, and those are games that you have to win. So um, even if you lose this game and you beat the Falcons, you're at 4-2, and you're feeling pretty good about yourselves going into Buffalo. So
And I can see the sentiment people would think, oh, we can beat shitty teams, we just can't beat good teams.
yeah,
Yeah, but I mean, that's you just start continuously measuring up. Okay, what the hell do we not do against the good team that we've been doing against bad teams?
Mhm.
And believe it or not, the Saints are a good defense. They are really. I think this is the most points they've allowed all season was against us.
Yeah,
So, I mean, we beat a good team. They're just offensively, they don't know what the hell they're doing
yeah,
when they're against us, I guess. But
yeah.
but realistically, I mean, because they blew out the damn Patriots.
Right,
Um,
right. You had a pick six in there.
right.
You had
So
some turnovers by the Patriots. Helped them out.
yeah, but I mean, overall, like that's why I say it's such a good measuring stick. I mean, the Eagles
Mhm.
game were competitive in it, then we just shot ourselves in the foot a lot of times. This
Yeah.
game, do we learn from that Eagles game? I mean, that's why I always say start watching our loss game films because that's where
Mhm.
you learn the most and what we need to move forward and fix. Because that's why I'm
Yeah.
hoping, okay, the crap I saw against the Eagles, you fix it in this game. Because if you do, you're going to be right there in the end. Because every game should be close until the very end. That's where you see the true who won the game. Because there's elite players on both teams.
Mhm.
Yes, some are a little bit more stacked than others, but if you're playing a team game, it should be that close. And I think that's what's going to happen in this game. It won't be one side taking over early or anything. It'll just be a
Mhm.
close until that fourth quarter.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, it's good to get some comments in here. Cam Dawson, good to see you, my friend. We'll see you at the tailgate. He still feels the game should be at 1 o'clock. Yeah, I mean, I understand that just because of you get out earlier. Also, you can watch the other games. But hey, 425, we're on the national spotlight. Obviously they did that because of the creamsicle jerseys. A lot of people want to see that, and they want to get those eyeballs on a good matchup. And the talk of the NFL right now has been Baker Mayfield in this Buccaneers team, and also a Detroit team that is on their way to probably winning, the NFC North. I'm not sure if Green Bay is doing anything tonight against the Raiders, but yeah, I mean, you got two teams that are in good spots to, clinch their divisions.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's going to be good. I'm excited. I'm happy that it's at 425 because I'm going to this game.
You're allowed to go.
Yeah, with me doing every damn side hustle there is, I didn't think I'd be able to make it, but with a later start, I'm going to be there, and I'm excited for that. So I'll have a brew or two. If you guys want to meet up.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we'll have to. Yeah, if anyone's going, usually we're in the lot 6 tailgate with some good friends of ours. So you always stop by there and say hello. Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. So yeah, can't wait for the game. A lot of good things though happening for the Buccaneers. I think this has really been a great start for the team. Now can we see if they can build upon this and try to keep momentum going? That's going to be very important, and hopefully we can get a healthy stretch going where we don't have guys going in and out. Hopefully guys can stay healthy, even though that's tough to do. But at the same time, it looks like this team is starting to build some depth. I mean, a lot of people didn't think we're going to have the secondary depth that has shown up. I can't give enough credit to Zion McCollum, Christian Izzy, and D Delaney. They all stepped up in big spots, and then this offensive line I think has been really good for what they are. I think that's been very impressive. Tristan Wirfs, alien, going from the right side to the left side without a flaw, only giving up 2 pressures so far this season. Elite left tackle. Going to get a lot of money, probably 150 million. Probably he's going to set the market there. And then everyone else, left guard through right tackle, I thought have played good enough. Obviously Hainsey's been kind of the weak link, but other than that, you got to be impressed with the right side that is very young. The right guard and right tackle looks like the future for this team, which is awesome. And left guard Matt Filer has come in and played like a veteran. So I think that is really cool for them. That whole group, I think, has really impressed.
Yeah, Filer's quietly doing his job.
Yeah.
Like I have not literally been like, oh, he messed up, Caleb Benenoch. There's never been a moment like that. It's just been he's just doing his job. And Cody Mock, like Chris said here, Mock too. He's literally getting better with every game. Like, Canales said it. He's playing really hard, but some of his fundamentals, he's playing too aggressive, and he's just not playing sound in his head. Yeah. He's getting better with every game. Gedeke has been so damn consistent. It's insane. People were in depression thinking that he was going to be terrible. And this man has been good every damn game. Yeah, he's his biggest test this week, but he's doing so damn good. And I feel like every time we do a film study on him, it's just like a laugh. Like, okay, guys, this is the shit show you guys were talking about. I'm not seeing it. But, hey, he deserves a lot more notoriety than he's getting, because I've seen so many like little things on Facebook, like who did well, who did not do well. I'm like, can you say he did not do well?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be fun to watch him this week. Obviously going up against Hutchinson, that's going to be a great test. A great battle for him. But yeah, he's played so well. And I think the problem with him and why people think that is because he was the worst guard in football last year. He was that bad. Like he was unplayable at left guard. And he wasn't good. And it left a lot of bad taste in people's mouths as far as, just watching him. And it was just so like just so bad, and it was so bad.
Was, but
And
it was.
yeah, and him moving back to the right tackle where he's comfortable. He played well in college there. He had really good tape at right tackle in college, and that's probably why he was a second round pick. And the only reason he moved to guard because he didn't have the arm length, and that's something that he's going to have to deal with. At times, you see it show up where he just doesn't have that length. But right now, I mean, he's playing so well technical wise that it's not hurting him, and he's doing enough where he can anchor and find ways to be strong at point of attack. So yeah, it's a lot of fun watching him play right now.
And the dude was smart. He found the best teacher to sit with in the whole offseason in Tristan Wirfs.
Yes.
How the hell can I play right tackle like you did?
Yeah.
And they went over it like they're like best friends now. So what a hell of a smart decision to let me just stick with this guy. I think he knows what he's doing.
Oh yeah, yeah, and Gedeke put on more weight. He's he's just stronger. Yeah, I mean, to train with Tristan, that was a smart move. And it's funny watching Tristan play left tackle. Like he still doesn't have the left tackle techniques down yet, but he's still dominating at his position because he's that damn good. Like he's still punching with his right hand, even though he shouldn't be punching with his right hand, and he's finding ways to win in that capacity, which is awesome.
It's not, and like his ability to recover, even though because sometimes he would just shut people down immediately. Yes, he's getting pushed back, but then immediately recovers and stops and anchors. I'm like, this dude's just insane. Like his lower body strength to withstand and then push back. Like once he starts getting it, I can see like where you're gonna see immediately shut down. Like
because once he starts punching with his left hand, and that becomes dominant, like he'll be a force, and obviously he'll be even better in the run game. That'll help him out tremendously. So so those are really my my two takeaways from this first half of the season is how well the secondary played, and how well that offensive line really stepped up. And then obviously, I could go on and on. Vita Vea, again, tremendous, already leading the team in sacks, on pace for 16 sacks, like people were saying last week, which is awesome and funny. But anyway, guys, thank you guys so much for joining us. We had over 30 people in here. We appreciate everyone that joined the show. Again, coming off the bye week, it's kind of weird not having Buccaneers football on yesterday, but it was also nice as well. Didn't have to, you could just watch football and enjoy it as a fan. Even though we do that when the Bucs play, but it's just a little more stressful when the Bucs play because we want them to win so bad. But please hit that like button. We appreciate all the support. Comment, what you thought of, or what you're thinking for this week against Detroit. Do you think Buccaneers have a good chance? Let us know what you guys want to look for as far as like videos. If you want something specific, let us know. We're probably going to have more film studies of, certain individuals from last week's game and try to get that out to you guys throughout the week, and then get you all ready for this Detroit Lions game. But appreciate everybody coming in here. And as always, we love you all, and go Bucs. Get ready for a big game against the Detroit Lions. And with that said, until the next one, we'll see you guys.
Enjoy it. Let's go Bucs. Creamsicle. Cream week.